I think that old phrase, "this next person needs no introduction," probably applies. No.
Wow! This is absolutely wonderful. I mean, and what I want to do is to thank Wendy and Susan for putting this wonderful, wonderful party together.
Eric.
No, we're not.
I think it's wonderful too that it is such a nice, intimate kind of thing of just my children, of my grandchildren, of my great-grandchildren, of my sister, my favorite nieces and nephews, neighbors. Thank you all so much for coming and making this a really, really wonderful, memorable day. I was thinking, when I got to be, you get to be 50, wow. You get to be 70, whoa. You get to be 80, woo. And then you get to be, but each stage you think is this, but then I thought, at each one I'd say, it's only a number. Don't pay any attention. Suddenly, 95. And you want to know something? It's scary. But in our days, we used to think because you'd retire at 65, because they figured you're only going to pay Social Security for a couple of years. The government is good, but it's people like me that are breaking the government. This is it, we're living, and what are they going to do with all this Social Security? But to each one, though, someone always has a better story. My sister tells me of her friend who's 108, and my sister who's only 93 is her young friend. So you see how everything becomes relative. But then I thought, 95, it did make me kind of think back at what the heck did I do with my life, or what was it really like? And I remember too that, boy, I've lived through history. I was born during the First World War, then the Second World War, then the Vietnam, then the Korean War, and then now, I've been through 5 wars. It just
quit it.
It's inconceivable to think of the kind of history that you lived through. Or now, when I see them, with all these new gadgets, I can't even remember all the names of all the gadgets that they have. And we could go back when we didn't even have telephones, we didn't have radio, we didn't, none of these things did we have. Go back and think of how different our lives were. Are they any better? I don't know. Or else, we remember when we got out of college, it was the Depression, and for whatever you were trained for, if you were glad if you got a job at Macy's or Gimbel's. And at that time, women did not get the kinds of jobs that they got today. You were either a secretary, a nurse, or a saleswoman or something like that, or a teacher. And as a teacher then too, I remember they weren't married. We didn't have married teachers. Isn't there someone who's saying now that teachers shouldn't be married either? I think one of our politicians.
They're sexually active.
But I've lived through through the Depression that we remember, but it isn't even anything like it is now. It was really hard. It was really rough. And I think of so much that I have lived through and felt. But with it all, I came from a beautiful, beautiful family. My sisters, my mother, my father. I had a wonderful first husband, and then I had a wonderful second husband. I mean, how many people could say this? And I I have a lot to be thankful for, and I am. And when I look at this room with this beautiful, beautiful people, I think at 95, I could get up. I could stand on my own. I could talk. I could see you. I could hear you. Wow. Magic. Isn't it funny, the things that you think, you know, that are important? And to me, these are the things that are really, really important. And I cherish them. I really do. And I think of what I could do different tomorrow, and how could I make each day special. Every day is special. And if it isn't special on that day, well, then I make it, and I let my imagination go. And I can't travel now, so you know what I do? I take out my journals that I kept when I used to travel, and I pretend that I'm back on the trips, and I read the notes, and I'm going all over. You should see where I'm traveling. And I don't have to go to the airport, and I don't have to take off my shoes. And magic. So it's just beautiful. It's wonderful. I could think of how terrible it is to be 95, and you know, each time, you know, on your phone you have those little buttons of special people that you call, and suddenly you got to erase those buttons. You go to your address book, and you got to erase those names and all. You come to the sad, sad part. But you know what I've been doing? I've been making friends with young ladies in their 80s. And that's what you have to do. You got to find new friends, new people, not the same as your dear old friends, no. But you got to keep going. And I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to invite all of you to my 100th birthday.
Yeah!
And so, thank you. I love you all. And thank you so much for making this a really memorable day.
Yeah!